What does rock climbing have to do with trading? Quite a lot, as it transpires. Now, both of these endeavours require an exceptional level, an exceptional capacity to execute our trained skills under extreme pressure. My name's Ash Playstead, trading psychology master coach and active trader for the past 25 years. Thank you for joining me from wherever you are in the world. And a very warm welcome to episode 36 of the Trading Psychology and Mindset Show. It is currently 9 a.m. Here in Southeast Australia. It is October the 12th, 2022. We are right into the middle of spring here. I wonder what season it is in your part of the world. And as always, I'll be diving deep into what is needed to retrain the mind we bring to trading, into the mind we need for trading success. So it's all about the here and now. The past is gone and the future is unknown. So we must bring our mind to the current moment of performance. Now, when you are climbing a 300-meter rock face with nothing more than a 1 centimeter thick piece of rope connected by a carabiner to a peg in the wall between you and certain death, you cannot, even for a heartbeat, let your mind drift to the outcome of winning, which in rock climbing is reaching the safety of the top of the cliff, or to the consequences of losing, falling to your death. No way. You must be totally in the present moment. This is a critical skill in rock climbing. Now, this mindset is not the one any rock climber, any experienced rock climber was born with. Some may start with a slight hereditary advantage, but success in rock climbing is massively skewed to learning the skill of peak performance in the moment. And that is really what we are talking about in this episode today, is the skill of peak performance in the moment without any regard to the future or the past. The ability to execute moment by moment what you have trained over and over for is the defining difference between success and failure. So what does this look like in trading? Well, ultimately it comes down to your ability to manage your emotions under pressure when all your chips are metaphorically on the table. And elite emotional management, elite ability to manage your emotions under pressure is a learned skill, not one we are born with. In fact, this is where trading really gets hard for most people. This is the fulcrum upon which all one's trading hopes and dreams ultimately rest. And I guess in my experience, this is where most traders hit a pivot point, is the acceptance that the mind that they brought to trading, the one that has proved to be successful in so many other domains of life, where willpower, effort, affecting the outcome through sheer force of effort and will, and creating more certainty about the outcome, is a very helpful skill. That is the one that we all have in our DNA, in our genome, and some people develop to a much higher level. The ability to affect the outcome is a human trait that we all have. However, when it comes to trading, that human trait actually stands between success and being an also-ran, between success and being part of the 95% of traders who ultimately contribute all the capital to the markets, that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% take from the markets. And the defining skill, the defining fulcrum on which this rests, is the ability to manage your emotional state when all your chips are on the table and when that impulse, that fight flight rears up, the ability to manage that, to control that, not in the absence of it. This is one of the great misconceptions about emotional intelligence, is it's not the absence of emotions, It is the mastery and control or management of emotions. So I just want to repeat that. It's not the absence of emotions that is the defining skill. It is the mastery and management of emotions that is the defining skill. And that is a learnable skill. And that is the good news. I guess the challenge is we don't get born with that. What we get born with is a fight, flight, survival impulse that when faced with the potential threat, we respond with a fear-based filter that says, this could harm us, let's get out of the way, or this could harm us, let's attack it. Now, in the rock climbing example, again, I want to reiterate, if you're on the side of a cliff with only a little piece of rope stuck to a peg in the wall between you and death, you simply must be able to control your emotional state. If you don't, and that emotions overwhelm you and panic sets in, you are in a lot of trouble. So rock climbers become very acclimatized to that. So think about this a little bit more. When you're stuck on the side of a mountain with only your tools and your mind at your disposal, you're not thinking about the top of the mountain, and you absolutely can't be catastrophizing about falling to your death. That would be the normal way a human would impulsively respond when faced with a threat to their survival. Yet a skilled rock climber has developed the ability to intervene in this emotional response control, which allows their trained, rational mind to think through all the data and make clear and correct decisions. Now, I want to talk a little bit about a recent experience of mine that has brought this topic to front of mind. When I was out hiking recently, this is in the last month, I went hiking with my son, and we went to an area not far from where I live here in Western Victoria called 𝐿. You can look that up on the map. It's a rock climbing haven here in Victoria. We went hiking. We love hiking. We love camping. We love adventuring. But I actually was, transfixed, intrigued by what I saw with all of these rock climbers who were setting up in the camp and heading up the side of this rock face, which has multiple routes to get to the top, right? And again, I want to just stop there for a minute and talk about multiple proven routes to the top. At 𝐿, there is approximately 1,000 mapped out and proven paths to the top, right, around this large rock formation. 1,000. Now, liken this to trading. There's probably 1,000 successful trading systems that all work, right? But you don't see rock climbers going one path and then if they get stuck, suddenly trying to move around the side of the rock face to a different path. No. But how often does this happen in trading? How often do I see traders getting stuck and going, okay, it must be my system. It must be a lack of technical knowledge. It must be, something that I'm missing in there. There's a secret way to the top of the mountain. Guess what? There's not. All of those ways to the top of the mountain work. The key is committing to one and then managing your emotional state as you work your way to the top. Okay. So, what I observed here was fascinating. And in particular, I was intrigued by the activity at the base of the cliff face. So as I was hiking around this formation, there were several climbers training, or more precisely, I would call it desensitizing their mind to the challenge of facing falling. So multiple times these climbers fell a few feet to the ground. So they would be on the side of the rock face, but only a couple of meters off the ground. But in their mind, they were desensitizing themselves. They were properly attached to all of their equipment as though they were high up the cliff face, right? So why do they do this? You might be thinking. So, of course, I was thinking that, and I decided to ask them. Now, the answer I got was very instructive for us as traders. In particular, this answer. I'm training my mind to get used to the risk of falling so that when I'm actually up there, I don't panic. Let me repeat that. I'm training my mind to get used to the risk of falling so that when I'm actually up there on the side of the mountain, I don't panic. So there you have it, traders. Training his mind. How many of you practice your trading system in simulation mode? Right? I'm betting nearly all of you have been taught, trained, or investigated that you must demo trade, you must simulation trade to prove that the system you're using works at a financial level, at a money management level. So we all practice that, okay? However, how many of you spend time conditioning your mind? Now, be honest with yourselves. How much time do you spend conditioning your mind? This is the key. Conditioning your mind to performing under the real pressure of the moment. Now, you don't go from zero to hero. It is incremental, step-by-step training your mind to get used to the pressure, the anxiety, the stress, the panic of being stuck on the side of a mountain. Now, in trading, what's being stuck on the side of a mountain? It could be you've put a trade on and the market comes back towards your stops, or potentially you miss the trade and the market starts moving in your direction. It triggers all of these feelings of panic, of FOMO, of impulsive potential behavior. That is the panic that I'm talking about in trading. So these rock climbers train their mind. That is the key. So you might be thinking, how do we do this? So the key takeaway is to practice conditioning your mind under actual trading conditions. Then I would highly recommend keeping a diary, a set of notes of your mindset, of your psychology, and your emotional state, right? This is the place to start, and it must be done. There is no shortcut. And ultimately, as I mentioned earlier, this is where most traders fail. And this is the truth of trading. Most traders don't fail through lack of a system, lack of intelligence, lack of effort, lack of intent. That's not what trips up the vast majority. And I would say 95% of all traders that fail because they don't put the work in to recondition their mind. Now, some may figure this out and go, yeah, I know what needs to be done, but they don't do it. And there's some that don't figure out what needs to be done and obviously don't do it. So ultimately, this is both the greatest obstacle and the greatest opportunity for you as a trader. Okay, so, you know, what happens with most traders is instead of pivoting to mindset reconditioning, they jump to another system, to another guru, to more technical knowledge. As I said, now think about this. Do you think a rock climber pivots to another way up the mountain, you know, that might be around the other side that they read about, you know, one of these 1,000 ways of getting to the top of the mountain? You can't, they simply don't do that, right? What they do is they train their mind to work through the process that they've trained for to get to the top of the mountain. They know that they put the work in, they know that they can do it, so they stick with it, right? This, for most traders, is a massive mistake to pivot to more knowledge, to pivot to another system. Massive mistake, as they simply go deeper down the rabbit hole of their existing limiting beliefs. Now, beyond this, there is much work to do in reconditioning your limiting beliefs, going deeper into where your limiting beliefs come from, then working on reshaping them so that under pressure, under the intense pressure of trading and, of course, rock climbing, these limiting beliefs still show up, but you develop the ability to intervene and bring forth the specifically trained state of mind that you know you put the work in for just this moment of performance. I'll repeat that. So that you know intrinsically, deep down, that you've put the work in for just this moment of performance. You must put the work in. Just like the rock climber who under pressure can depend on their trained state of mind, so too can you. I really, really want to emphasize how enormous this opportunity is to identify this is the fulcrum. This is the pivot point of which most fail, right? And most will continue to fail. Your opportunity is to go the other direction and focus on reconditioning your mind. And for me, this is why I created Mindset Reflexology, my proprietary brain training process. It is the process of getting your mind fit for trading, right? We understand the word fitness in so many other parts of life. Physical fitness, trained skills for any physical endeavor. We understand the word fit is essential. It is equally, if not more so important, that your mind is fit for trading. So I hope you've enjoyed this discussion, this analysis of the similarity, the connection between rock climbing and trading for a living. They are so closely related. So I highly recommend that you watch this lesson, this piece over and over again, so that it sinks in, so that you understand the steps that you need to take to recondition your mind. Now, of course, if you want more help from me or you want to learn more about this, I'd highly recommend subscribing to my YouTube channel for all episodes, plus more short training videos on this and other topics related to reconditioning your mind. If you go to your YouTube search function and type in Mindset Reflexology, you'll bring up the Trading Psychology and Mindset channel. Also, subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter, which comes out weekly, where I dive into these topics in more detail in written form. And you can do that by going to my LinkedIn profile and subscribing to my newsletter. You can always visit my website, mindsetfitmethod.com. There's more detailed training masterclasses there. And of course, if you're in a position where you'd like some more advice or help right now, please book a one-on-one discovery chat with me. They're free. I think if you're in a position where you want to do something about this now, take that step, have a chat with me. I'll point you in the right direction. And you can do that by DMing me, on LinkedIn or using the calendar function on my website. So wherever you may be in the world, thank you for joining me. I wish you a week of mindful, peaceful, profitable trading. I'll see you the same time next week, same day, same time, for another episode of the Trading Psychology and Mindset Show. Thank you for listening.